This is Valley News Live at 5.
Fire officials say it could take up to a month to finish their investigation into what caused the blaze at a South Fargo strip mall. The call came in just before 1:30 yesterday afternoon at 3242 20th Street South. Both Gigi's Playhouse and Body Works Physical Therapy were both destroyed. And as Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley learned today, as Fargo crews had their hands full, firefighters throughout the rest of the metro rushed to give a helping hand.
It was all hands on deck and then some yesterday afternoon.
Central to Moorhead Fire.
Go ahead, Central.
Fire's requesting a RIP team for a third alarm fire.
Moorhead Deputy Fire Chief Jeff Wallen says when another city calls for backup, the first thing that's done is calling those not on duty to come and fill in for those on the front lines.
Off-duty firefighters came in to start staffing some of our backup apparatus, and we responded to a couple of calls for service in Moorhead while our crews were over in Fargo.
Wallen says while helping out at the South Fargo blaze, his crews were also tasked with responding to other calls in the city of Fargo.
While our crews were en route to that strip mall, an additional call came out in the city of Fargo for smoke in the area that might have been related to that strip mall. As it turns out, it was. And as all Fargo fire units were busy, our truck that was going over to assist diverted to that call first.
He says off-duty firefighters eventually filled in as backup and were able to respond to other calls in the city, and says Moorhead crews helped in the strip mall blaze for about an hour and a half. Help he says his crews will gladly give, as you never know when the tables could turn.
You can't really have all the resources that you're going to need for some of the largest emergencies that occur, and so it only makes sense to share the resources that you have in place when you've got those larger incidents.
In Moorhead, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Meanwhile, volunteers and staff at Gigi's Playhouse in Fargo are surveying the damage today from the fire. Their portion of the building is destroyed, and it's forcing a pause on the services they provide to people with Down syndrome in the community. They normally offer literacy and math tutoring, fitness programs, and cooking classes, but all of that is now on hold.
After everything that's happened this last year, and now having this, it's really tough.
Tonight on Valley News Live at 6, we hear how the fire is impacting one family who lived and breathed the mission of Gigi's Playhouse and are now trying to figure out how to move forward. It's pretty great when there's not a lot to talk about in the weather department, but just for old time's sake, let's check in with Hutch to see what's happening this evening. Hey, Hutch.
Oh, I'm glad you let me join in the reindeer games here, Andrea, as we do have a little bit to talk about tonight as beautiful weather, but in the midst of the beautiful weather, we've told you about the dust devils. And last night we got this photo where you can see the dust devil forming over the Dead Lake area, flipping the pontoon out there as they cause big wind. And this photo shared today from Cassia, the Kensal area. Some trampoline damage caused by one of those nasty old dust devils. 70 degrees in Grand Forks and Langdon, 69s for Jamestown to Fargo, slightly cooler in Lakes Country where we have some popcorn cumulus showers developing, but out to the west, a few rumbles of thunder and some showers where it's badly needed. We'll steer clear of any rain for this evening. Clouds will be on the increase. The wind will decrease after sunset, but expect it to remain gusty as we'll stay in the 60s until just after sunset. It's dipping into the 50s at bedtime tonight in Grand Forks as well. Those showers out west, a few of us may see them tomorrow. We'll tell you when and where they're heading coming up here in your hour-by-hour forecast, Andrea, in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Hutch. The man accused of killing and dismembering a teenager in Moorhead will not be allowed to withdraw his guilty plea. Ethan Broad is charged with second-degree intentional murder for the killing of Destiny Avery in April 2020. He admitted to killing her, but earlier this year, Broad said he wanted to withdraw his guilty plea, asking to take the case to trial. After a third evaluation, he was found competent to understand his plea agreement. Broad is set to be sentenced next Friday. A judge has found aggravating factors in the death of George Floyd. In his ruling, the judge found that former Minneapolis officer Derek Chauvin abused his authority as a police officer when he restrained Floyd during the arrest. The judge also found Chauvin treated Floyd with particular cruelty. The ruling paves the way for the possibility of a longer sentence for Chauvin, who was convicted last month on murder and manslaughter charges. Fargo police are thanking a group of bystanders after they helped an officer with an arrest early this morning. Officers responded to a report of a man driving recklessly and hitting a parked car. They found Jacob Eitan at a gas station, but then he ran away. When the officer caught up to him, he started resisting. That's when some bystanders stepped in and helped the officer get Eitan in handcuffs. He was arrested for 3 probation violations: possession of meth, refusing to halt, reckless driving, and leaving the scene of an accident. The Moorhead Police Department is temporarily deactivating its Facebook page after 2 YouTube videos went viral. One video shows a non-violent interaction with officers, but police say due to some aggressive comments from around the country, their Facebook page was taken down so they could focus on the needs within the community. Another video involving an incident with Fargo City Hall and police was also posted. Turning to our coronavirus coverage, a CDC advisory committee says the Pfizer vaccine should be given to adolescents. They unanimously voted to recommend the 2-dose vaccine to be used in children ages 12 to 15. The virtual meeting was held just 2 days after the FDA authorized it to be used in that age group after data showed it was 100% effective. The CDC director must now sign off on the recommendations, but some states have already started putting shots into arms. For example, Essentia Health will vaccinate 12 to 15-year-olds starting tomorrow. Many Essentia locations accept walk-ins, but you can also make an appointment using MyChart or by calling the number on your screen. A consent form must be signed by a parent or a guardian. CVS also plans on vaccinating those in this age group starting tomorrow. Sanford Health and Altru will also begin vaccinating adolescents this week. We are learning more about how vaccines are being administered in Clay County. Nearly 40% of the population has received the first dose, with 34% completing the series. The first dose has been administered to nearly 300 teenagers ages 16 and 17, nearly 8,400 people ages 18 to 49, nearly 5,000 people ages 50 to 64, and more than 6,100 for the age group 65 and older. There has been a decrease with people wanting to receive the first dose of the vaccine.
Our team met this week to talk about the slow decline, and those first doses are what we're seeing as very limited second doses. So the uptake is less.
The Johnson & Johnson vaccine will be available in Clay County on Thursday. You can head to valleynewslive.com to register. Walk-ins are accepted. Cass County residents who cannot get access to the vaccine should contact Fargo Cass Public Health. FCPH has implemented a number of mobile missions, bringing the vaccine to those who cannot attend an on-site clinic. If you'd like to learn more, you can call the number on your screen, 298-6951. A food distribution program designed to help families during the pandemic is coming to an end. The Farmers to Families Food Box program delivered nearly 167 million boxes of fresh food to families in need. These boxes were given away at West Acres Mall and the Moorhead Center Mall during the YMCA's Farmers to Families events. The chairman of the Senate Nutrition Subcommittee says he hopes the program continues on in some form. A fundraiser is planned for a 23-year-old man who's been on a ventilator for a few weeks after contracting COVID-19. We told you on Saturday that supporters of Brady Monroe gathered at the hospital wearing their Brady Strong shirts. Brady has had a long battle so far with blood clots, his lungs collapsing, and other ailments. The Breakfast for Brady fundraiser will be held on Sunday at the Argusville Community Center from 8 to 12:30. If you're not able to make it, you can also help by going to the website right there on your screen. Close to 800 graduates from MSUM will not walk the stage for this commencement ceremony, but instead they'll be given a platform virtually when their names are called. Smaller in-person ceremonies will be held for graduates and international students with a hooding and sash ceremony. It hasn't been the easiest year for graduating students, so it's especially important to celebrate their accomplishments.
It's incredibly important to celebrate our graduating seniors. They have accomplished so much and had so much grit to get through the last year and a half.
4 ceremonies will take place over the next 2 days. If you would like to watch, we have the link at valleynewslive.com. Still to come on Valley News Live at 5, a recognizable face for daytime viewers has decided her upcoming season will be her last.
Not quite as chilly to start out your day today. Temperatures in the 20s in Bemidji, but 30s to near 40s elsewhere. Lovely afternoon temperatures hit 70 on this breezy day. We'll have hour-by-hour details on what you can expect, as we could see a few showers and rumbles of thunder tomorrow. Those details are straight ahead.